What is going on, guys? It is your boy Ollie Footy. We got a World Cup recap. Day 7, Groups A and B were in action, and we could start right away. All right, let's get into this Czechia South Africa match because, I mean, you look at this. Czechia found some quality early. I mean, it was a very nice throw in kind of, it's like save, so they throw it in. The Czech attacker, I don't know if it was Schick or okay, Soika. Sorry, you gotta bear with me, man. The Czech names are very hard to pronounce. However, the Soka or the Soyuka, Alexander, if you will, saves that. Or not? No, that was not him. I'm sorry. It might have been Schick who made that pass, who got that pre-assist and gets it to Soka, who makes a great touch and then gets the goal by Sajlek. And yeah, Czechia are up early and they find that bit of quality early, and from there it was kind of hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. It was just these two teams trying to figure out how to work the final third because both of these teams got a lot of opportunities in the final third, and South Africa had quite a few counters and they just couldn't do much with it. And Czechia, when they get in the final third, South Africa would obviously get down in a low block, and Czechia could not figure it out. Eventually, South Africa late game, they're down. You know, the game state requires you to push players forward, and they do. They get in Czechia's box. They start to get, a little bit of wave of pressure, and then handball to basically save their game, save a point for them. Unfortunately for my boy Pavel Suk, who didn't start this game, who comes in, and it's, your first World Cup, and this is how especially for a country like Czechia who's not always in World Cups, this is how you lose a point for them, basically, or 2 points really. And yeah, that's unfortunate. It's a tough pen to take because obviously it's unintentional. Obviously it's, maybe it's not super effective, or it's not bothering the path of the ball like that. That ball's not necessarily gonna be scored. You know what I mean? But it is a pen, and we've seen it time and time again. We've seen pens called like that, and it's unfortunate for Czechia, but it's the name of the game. South Africa convert their penalty, and it ends in a 1-1 draw. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough when you look at the table now because I think both of these teams really needed a win as far as getting to the next round. Now, Czechia are still a solid team. I think they can maybe get a result from Mexico in their next game. I don't foresee that for South Africa, however. And so, yeah, I think the round of 32 is basically dead for both of these teams. You're probably looking at both of these teams ending the World Cup with just 1 point and not enough to get through the next round. Unfortunately, I think that this game really needed a winner. If that winner would have had very high third round of 32 hopes and going through as one of the best third place teams. But unfortunately for them, that's just not going to happen. And well, I mean, anything can happen, but I really don't think so. So yeah, it's unfortunate. This is probably the end of both their World Cups. And yeah, it's still a fun game at times, but I think not. It was probably the lowest quality game you could argue of both the teams today. But yeah, before we get to this big one, I think this is the main event here. Let's cover the Group B games. Switzerland and Bosnia. I mean, this game was a dead rubber for the majority of 75 minutes, right? And then Monzambi comes in. I mean, Monzambi's got, a very, very nascent player, as I like to say. I mean, he's a young talent for Switzerland, and yeah, he comes in and basically super subs here. I think he came in, yeah, 2 minutes before, 2 minutes before he scored, and ends up leaving as the man of the match in just 18 minutes played, or 18 plus stoppage time, I guess. So 25 minutes played, and yeah, I mean, this kid has got a future. My goodness, Switzerland have got themselves a real Swiss Army knife because this guy not only, I mean, his position is DM, but you look at his profile, like he can play basically anywhere, man. This guy is so athletic. And yeah, I mean, the goals today for Switzerland just kind of kept piling on, especially after this red card by Bosnia. And yeah, I mean, Vargas too also came in as a sub, so they kind of super sub team up right there. But yeah, unfortunate for Bosnia to lose here. I mean, they still have a chance. I think their next game is Qatar. Yes, so you'd imagine they win that game, considering what happened to Qatar today. So Bosnia and all my Bosnians, please continue to have hope. I do believe you guys will make the round of 32. And let's talk about this Bosnian goal. I mean, what a screamer, man. He hit that nasty, nasty, nasty goal, man. I think it was like a volley, but it was definitely the pace of that goal was incredible. Especially, Bosnia, I think we're down 3 at the time. So, it was just nice to get a goal, get up on the board. And I think especially with goal difference and how that matters with the third place teams, you're gonna want some goals back. So every goal is important in the group stage. It really, really is, especially if you're playing for third place. But yeah, Switzerland, you know, we'll get to the Canada result later, but because of that result, they're still in second place. But Switzerland look a lot better today than they did, at least in that last stretch of the game. They looked a lot better than they did versus Qatar, where they were just completely wasteful and awful at times, and like for their standard. And yeah, they picked it up today. Nice to see their subs pick it up. And I think if Switzerland can keep up this kind of form going into a big game versus Canada, where neither of you are qualified mathematically yet, although very highly likely you will go to the round of 32. It does, you'd imagine it would behoove you to be one of the top two in the group. You don't want to leave it up to chance. Now, they could settle for a draw and both will go through as the top two in the group if that's what they wanted to do. But I doubt that would happen. I think Canada at home especially wanna go for it. So yeah, but for Switzerland, big result, and yeah, it's nice for them to get some goals in. Hopefully that can up their form a little bit because they were not too great in their first game. But yeah, it's good to see them getting a little bit better. Growing with the World Cup. Speaking of growing, Canada, growing football nation. And I mean, Qatar. Look, the standards, the expectations were low, but my God, my God. And before we even get any further, that first red card, that's just rash, right? That first red card is rash by Elamin. Now let's talk about the second red card because it's very unfortunate for Ismail Kone, who, you look at his story and he's been, growing up in Canada, went to Montreal. He was at Marseille, and what happened between him and Deserbi. Deserbi just unfairly bashing him in the middle of practice, gets sent to Sassuolo and starts doing bits there. So for Ismail Kone, now he's here at his first World Cup, and unfortunately gets a very, very tragic injury, breaks his fibula, I believe. And it's not too rash of a challenge. I mean, it's a very common challenge, but that can happen. It's not ballet, it's football, and yeah, unfortunately. So shout outs to Ismail Kone. Thoughts are with him. Hopefully, has a healthy recovery. And yeah, it's unfortunate his World Cup is over, but he can take some solace in the fact that Canada put up 6 on the board, man. My goodness. I mean, after that second red card, open range. You know what I mean? Jonathan David gets a hat trick. Look, I can't value this too much because look, Canada is not a bad nation, right? Canada is a very solid footballing nation, solid footballing team. However, when you're up against a 9-man Qatar, and before that, a 10-man Qatar for the majority of the time. How good really are you? You know what I mean? So I'm happy for Canadians. Please, 6 goals at the World Cup. This must be some sort of record or it's high up there on the list. But let's be logical here, okay? Now, this is still a big win, and there was some I don't know if there were like quotes that came out, but some sort of, speculation that Canada, the Qatari manager, I think it was Lopetegui who coached them now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he was kind of a little bit upset that Canada were running up the score. But I mean, considering this competition and the goal difference they have, now Canada are in pole position, prime position to finish top of the group, and that's going to be huge for them, because this is why you run up the score, man. Even if you tie with Switzerland, now you're good, and if you somehow get into third place, you're also good, So like that, this game basically seals their qualification. So I understand the need to run up the score, and if that was my team, I would do the same. So I don't know why he would be mad about that, but yeah, I don't want to overhype this Canadian team. Shout out to Jonathan David, World Cup hat trick. That's very rare, but 10 men, 9 men. Let's be cognizant. You know what I'm saying? However, Canada was obviously the way better team. I mean, they were up 2-0 before the first red card anyway. So, yeah, I think for Canada, take it as a positive, but don't let your head get too big. That Switzerland game is going to be massive. Now, if you can beat Switzerland, eyes will be opened. Attention will be grabbed. You know what I'm saying? Warning shots will be sent. All of that. So we'll see. We'll see what you guys do versus Switzerland. But hey, great win. Enjoy it, and yeah, get ready for the next game. And now for the main event, Mexico versus South Korea. This was a very, very fun game. Probably deserved more goals, but I gotta be honest, I don't think Mexico were the better team, even though they got a huge win yesterday night. I think that goal, I mean, that's just pure, pure South Korean error right there. Kim and Jae doesn't get out of the way, and Mexico just have to tap it in. Romo just taps it in. But at the end of the day, they get the 3 points, and that's what matters. But I think South Korea and Mexico, when I look at these two teams, Mexico had a great home field advantage, and I think that helped them a lot. Because if this game was played, in a neutral venue, I think South Korea probably get the job done. I think that also helped Mexico in a way. But really, when I look at these two teams, I think South Korea has a better chance to go further than Mexico. You know, Mexico, that home field advantage helps and whatnot, but I really felt like South Korea should have won this game. Like South Korea created so much, and they're just so unlucky to be offside as much as they were. Now, sure, you can say Mexico played a great line, but really, I just think they timed that run just a little better, and South Korea probably leave this game with 3 goals. Like that's how good South Korea were for me. Not to say Mexico were awful or anything, but yeah, I think South Korea were the better team, unlucky to lose. But at the end of the day, Mexico have the 3 points, and that's what matters. And I think with 6 points, you're qualified, right? So they're qualified for the next round for sure. And even if they mathematically cannot fall to third place. I'm tripping. So they're qualified, and yeah, South Korea. It's unfortunate, but you're probably facing next in the worst team in the group in South Africa, and South Korea should win that game, easily qualify. And even if they get to third place, I mean, South Korea should probably be good to qualify as well. So we'll see what happens. But I think Mexico kind of escaped with one there. Mexico kind of lacked quality. I mean, they had one really good chance from Raul Jimenez in the second half, but South Korea, I mean, let's look at the stats here. I mean, they created more. Three big chances missed. So that'll tell you everything you need to know, really, right? South Korea, if they can just create some, convert their chances, it's a totally different ball game. It really is. I really think the South Korean team can go far. I'm talking round of 16. Whereas Mexico might get round of 32. Who knows? However, we can't argue the results, and Mexico are through, probably first in the group. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm getting ready to head out to the Fan Fest, so I'll be back later on tonight to recap the USA and Australia, Scotland and Morocco, Brazil and Haiti, Turkey, Paraguay, maybe. Turkey, Paraguay, maybe. We'll see. Obviously, that Brazil Haiti game is going to be huge, huge here in Philly. So that we'll be having a time. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Ollie Footy. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe. You know the deal. And yeah, until next time, we out.